Recently, I've gotten a lot of criticism for my content. People want to know why I feel comfortable calling out people and doing commentary videos when I myself have a plethora of mistakes I've made. For the most part, I don't believe that anyone is beyond redemption or beyond improving as a person. With few exceptions, I do believe that everyone can address the mistakes they've made and move forward in life. While I do often mention my past mistakes, I said a bunch of stupid things, that a lot of the stuff I said, it was me looking to get a reaction out of people. Now, of course, this is not an excuse for the awful things that I said. Those things that I said were disgusting, and I was taking out my anger in a very inappropriate and disgusting way. I've never made a formal apology where I've addressed everything one by one. This video is long overdue, and it's time I've addressed what's happened. I'd like to preface this by saying that I'm not attempting to excuse anything I've said or done. I can provide an explanation, but at the end of the day, there is no excuse for my actions. Whether or not you forgive me is up to you. And in order for this apology to be genuine, I can't go into this with an expectation of forgiveness. I am not owed anyone's forgiveness. If my past statements are upsetting and disturbing enough to you, whereas you feel the need to unsubscribe and no longer want to associate with me, I completely understand. If at any part I start to get too emotional during this video, please understand that it is not because I want to garner sympathy, but because some of these things are genuinely hard for me to talk about. I'm sorry if at any point it starts to come off this way. The first thing I want to address is my history of bothering other creators to collaborate or start fake drama with me. I'm trying to get my name out there by beefing with people who have more subscribers than me. That's what you do. Obviously, this was not an appropriate way to try to garner attention. I'd like to think that since then, I've learned that I can create content that people want to see without resorting to try to get people to fake drama with me. What I did to some creators was nothing short of harassment. I don't want to mention anyone by name because I don't want to direct any negative attention their way or start any further drama. But if you are someone who has been hurt by me doing this, I'd be more than happy to reach out to you privately and apologize for my actions if that's what you want. If you'd rather things be addressed publicly, that's fine too. Just let me know what you would be more comfortable with. I haven't taken out some of my older videos because I don't want to run from my mistakes, but if you think that it's the best way to rectify the situation, that's fine too. I've since learned that part of taking accountability is to accept that I am not owed anything. Other creators have the right to choose whether or not they want to work with me, whether it be because my controversy makes them uncomfortable or because they feel as though my controversy would be bad for the brand, or they simply just don't feel like it. It is ultimately up to them. The next thing I want to address is some of my homophobic statements.
They described her as being a homophobe. I don't respect the things Rose Mulet has said in the past when it comes to gay people.
There's absolutely no excuse for these, and what I said was disgusting. The root of my homophobia was trauma, but any trauma survivor will tell you that you still need to take accountability for what you've said and done while you were afflicted by the trauma. As I've already mentioned in a previous video, I was groomed online by a group of people. The group of people would often say very inappropriate and abusive things in private, and sometimes public messages, and told me things like I would be more popular if I was more sexual. One claimed they wanted to stuff me in a body bag. This group of people was also very transphobic to me in their abusive messages and would invalidate my gender and treat me as if I was a drag queen instead of just a girl, and called me a gender faker, while at the same time encouraging me to be more sexual when I was only 15. They encouraged me to post pictures of myself to prove I wasn't just a 40-year-old man pretending to be a young girl. For me, the breaking point was when someone took control of my account and refused to give it back unless I did inappropriate things on camera for them. My account was never given back, and the person who had control of it started to use it to write a lot of outrageous and sexual things. Everyone believed I was a troll the whole time, and I spent a long time playing into this role as a troll because I was in denial about what happened to me. I responded to this trauma in the worst way possible by saying horribly disgusting and homophobic things on Twitter because I was bitter and insecure and angry at the world, and angry at the people who had done this to me, and because I thought these controversial statements would garner attention. This habit of mine continued on Twitter for years after the fact, and I've since learned that not everyone in the gay community is like the people that have hurt me all those years ago. If you are gay and my reaction to this has hurt you, I am deeply sorry. My trauma does not excuse my homophobia, and I'm not going to use it as an excuse. Just like those people being transphobic to me wasn't acceptable, it wasn't acceptable for me to be homophobic either. I should have known better and gotten help earlier on. Please know that I no longer feel any hatred or judgment for others for their sexual orientation. There is no excuse for that. My trauma is not an excuse, and if you feel the need to unsubscribe from me over this, then that's your choice. There's another thing I want to address. I mentioned earlier that this group of people would invalidate my gender. There's a lot of rumors going around me saying that I am faking being trans.
I keep on hearing these stories about how she apparently faked being transgender to hold on to a collaboration. It wouldn't shock me. It's not out of brand for her.
If you are trans, then you probably already know what it means to be stealth. I originally came out as trans because I wanted to keep a collaboration. I instantly regretted it, and I tried to retract my statement and claim that I was only doing it to keep the collaboration. I wasn't ready to come out yet, and I wanted to go back on it and say that I was cis. It was a stupid thing to do. I've since become a lot more secure in my womanhood and who I am. Because I want to put this to rest once and for all, here are some clips of me before I've had voice training.
Where it's like persuasive towards people who... I was born 2000, so about half of these songs. Anyway, this is like the end of the video.
As you can see, I sound a little bit different than I do now. I'm not going to dead name myself, and I don't feel as though I owe my dead name to anyone. Just know that I'm sorry for lying about faking being trans and anyone I've hurt because they thought I was faking being trans. Speaking of being trans, I want to apologize for the statements I've made about non-binary people.
Non-binary people. Taking the word transgender, it's going to cause misconceptions within the transgender community because there's two different things.
I was insecure about being seen as normal, and I felt validated by invalidating them, and that was wrong. No matter how you identify and how you choose to transition, you deserve respect. If you are non-binary and you don't feel comfortable with my content because of some of the things I said, that's completely understandable. Just know that my previous thoughts towards non-binary people are not opinions that I currently hold, and I am genuinely sorry for the harm I've caused the non-binary community by being so invalidating to them. Something else I'd like to address are some sexist statements I've made about what men and women can and can't do. While I've since learned from them and I've met a lot of gender nonconforming individuals, at the time I was made really insecure by the existence of men who were effeminate because it reminded me of all the transphobic statements people had made about me, saying that I could just be an effeminate man. I took men being feminine as a personal attack instead of just people choosing to freely express themselves because I was insecure in my femininity. I've since realized that nothing anyone says will make me any less of a woman. No matter what people call me, it will not change what I am, and that people are free to express themselves however they choose. I hope any gender nonconforming people watching this know that I don't hate them. I don't think their existence is transphobic, and I'm sorry to any harm I've caused to them by saying such things. The next thing I want to talk about is some of the horrible statements I've made about rape.
I have a rape fetish. Like, I want to be raped.
Why would you want?
One, because I deserve it, and two,
Okay,
because
no one
it would
deserves
just
that.
make me
Why-
feel
okay.
good about myself.
I don't really know where to begin with this. Wanting attention from controversy is not an excuse, and there is nothing to say here other than I am deeply sorry to any rape survivors who were triggered by me saying these things. I've since come to learn that my habit of saying things like this stems from my own trauma. I am only recently learning to come to terms with what happened to me and accepting the full reality of that. So I can't imagine how harmful me saying such invalidating things about other trauma survivors has been for them. I hope that to any survivors who are hurt or re-traumatized by me saying something so awful, that you are able to heal and find peace. I can't undo the harm I've done to you, but I can hope the best for you going forward. One thing I've been called out for a lot in the past was threatening suicide.
He knows what he's doing is going to hurt my mental health, and it's not okay. I told him that I struggled with mental health issues in the past, and that bullying me with a diss track was not a good idea.
While it's true that I've struggled with suicidal thoughts in the past, it was wrong of me to weaponize that or to use that in such a way that it would hurt others in an attempt to get attention. There is no excuse for that, and I'm so sorry to anyone that I've hurt doing this. Suicidal thoughts aren't something I'd wish on my worst enemy, and I understand that me doing this has been seriously detrimental to the mental health of many. I've often backtracked and claimed that I was never suicidal, both for attention and because I was afraid of more people calling police for a wellness check. It doesn't matter if I was truly dealing with suicidal thoughts. Acting in that way was not an appropriate cry for help. I was desperate for attention and for someone to say they cared about what I was going through, even if it meant exaggerating and acting like I was about to kill myself right then and there. That was horrible of me to do. There is no excuse for that, and I am truly sorry. I'm not proud of the things I've done in the past. I've pulled a lot of stunts for attention, and I've lashed out at so many people in hurtful and manipulative ways, often mimicking the same ways I was hurt and manipulated, and that was seriously wrong of me. I often put on a front of having a big ego because I wanted to hide my own insecurities. I'm only just starting to process everything and come to terms with what I put the people around me through. I don't know if I can ever truly make up for the hurt that I've caused, but I like to try by putting more positive things out into the world. I've since learned that I don't need to be controversial to garner attention. I can make content and write silly meme songs that will make people happy. When I make commentary videos, I am often dramatic, but I don't do so with the intention of harming anyone. I do believe that my commentary videos are putting a positive thing into the world, as just recently one of my commentary videos has inspired a fellow TikTok creator to take down a video where they respond to a child dancing inappropriately. It makes me happy to see that my content is making a positive difference in the world, and I think for the most part that mistakes can be addressed and people can move on, but it wasn't fair for me to expect others to address their mistakes if I haven't made a formal apology addressing mine. I've waited a long time to make this video because I didn't think it would come off as genuine if I made it in a week or a month after doing something controversial. I wanted to show not only the world but also myself that I could change rather than going around announcing it. But after realizing that a lot of people felt as though they needed an apology to truly forgive me, it was time. After so long, I am finally starting to feel at peace with myself. I like to think that I'm not the same person who would say or do some of the awful things I've said and done for attention in the past. I hope that to anyone else out there who is struggling with processing what's happened to them when they were younger, that this video inspires you to reach out and talk to someone about what you're going through. I hope that to anyone who has acted out and hurt people because of what you were going through, that you know that you can still change. After being stuck in such a toxic mindset for years, I can confidently say that you won't be stuck in this mindset forever, and you won't always feel so hurt and betrayed. And lastly, I hope that to anyone I ever hurt with my statements that this apology will give you a sense of closure. You didn't do anything to deserve the ways you were hurt. I chose to type those statements and put them into the world, and that responsibility falls solely on me. If you accept my apology, that choice is solely yours. I don't want to run from my past, and I don't want to deny it. I know there are a lot of videos out there calling out the things I've said and done. I'm learning to accept that the things I've said and done will be there forever, just as the things people have said and done to me will be there forever. I would like to request that anyone who has made a video about me in the past that includes the form I was groomed on removes my old username. Obviously, I would like it if the videos about me were down entirely, but I don't need people to take their videos about me down, because I know I am a different person than I was at the time that those videos were made. Similarly, I don't feel the need to take a lot of my old videos down because I don't feel the need to run from the things I've said. My past is there, and I accept it.